Oh, baby.
It is time to discover crypto. Good day, everybody. How are we doing? It is October 12th. It's 10:31, and I'm ready to talk some Bitcoin. I'm ready to talk some $8,000 Ethereum. I'm talking to you, China. Talking to you, India. I'm talking to you, globe. I'm talking to you, America. We're going around the globe with this. Guys, we got a great guest on today. You want to tee him up for us, Nick?
I'm going to tee him up. This is a Bitcoin OG that honestly, to keep it 100%, I actually met this dude on Clubhouse back in the day in 2020 during flu season. Remember when Clubhouse was a thing?
That was a cool thing, yeah.
So it was like me. That's where I got orange pilled. I sat on the hill behind my house and I listened to these guys just ramble and go insane about Bitcoin for hours and hours on end. British Hodl in the chat. It's going to be on the show in about 10 minutes. This guy is an absolute savage when it comes to Bitcoin. He's an absolute savage when it comes to just life in general. And he's also a major cigar aficionado. So
cigar aficionado.
We've got
okay.
a lot,
we might have a cigar aficionado join the studio tomorrow as well. You're going to want to stick around. Some people might already know whom we're talking about. If you're wondering why Deezy's teed up, I just watched Creed last night, so I'm full of motivational juices.
It all makes sense. Like with arms wide open?
Not that kind. What?
Like with arms wide open?
Yes. I don't know what we're talking about.
The band, Scott Stapp.
Oh, okay.
Creed.
Okay. With arms wide open. Yeah. All right. Creed.
Doesn't give me flashbacks.
Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. See, I've eliminated all Creed memories in my brain.
Plus one in the chat if you actually did jam out to Creed back in the day.
Creed wasn't that bad. All right, guys, we're going to talk about an $8,000 ETH first, okay? Also, we got some SBF stuff. We got the latest updates, of course. We got some Chainlink stuff. We got some XRP stuff. We got some X Minute. And I'm going to show my cold plunge at the end of the episode, folks. Deezy did a cold plunge, and I got the film. I got the footage. All right, I do want to give a quick shout out to Linqto. I think me and Nick are going to try to figure out how to get into Ripple Labs. So, guys, Linqto, let's open that up. Let's open it up. The first one sold out very quickly, so you got to get in at Linqto. Make sure you get in those things early. Hit merch. We got some cool merch. I almost wore the Drippin' X today, but didn't quite make it. But let's talk about an $8,000 Ethereum. They say by 2026. I really feel like it'd be by 2025. I think 2026, we're going to be going down. +2 for Nickelback fans. Okay.
Oh, man. Creed sucked. Pantera. Look, dude. Pantera, Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Display of Power. Get out of here. That's the best gym playlist ever.
Creed is underrated character on The Office as well. But back to $8,000 ETH here. Standard Chartered's research predicts Ethereum to hit $8,000. And eyes $35,000 long term. So we got a couple breakdowns. We got some bullish scenarios. We got some bearish scenarios. So then we're going to say, can the 8K actually happen? All right, but first, so after the financial behemoth had a forecast for Bitcoin originally hitting 50K by the end of the year and then hitting 120, now they're saying they're back with a new report, and this time they're spotlighting Ethereum. In the recent analysis, they say the unrivaled command across diverse realms of DeFi, token genesis, and smart contract innovations, these dynamics are going to catapult Ether to an impressive $8,000, marking a quintuple jump from its present stance. Notably, the 8K projection is merely a precursor to their long-term valuation between 25K and 35K, essentially here. The gap between traditional finance and digital world is narrowing by the day, said the chief strategist for Standard Chartered. But
so interesting note about Standard Chartered before we get into this a little bit more.
Yeah.
They are on the short list of a globally systemic important bank.
Ooh, very short list. So they cannot fail,
They literally will get every single bailout under the sun before they go under. They also have, so they're a British bank. Okay. They're publicly traded British bank. They are one of the few international banks that are chartered in Australia, China, and India. So they're looking at AK Ethereum for not only their high net worth individuals in the UK, but also India.
Okay, all right. Largest English-speaking nation in the world, they say.
That's true.
Well, meanwhile, the gas fees have been insanely low, folks. So I keep not having the CoinGecko, then I kind of skip it and I forget it. I do want to do a quick little check some quick prices. We'll run through this. Let's see where the ETH gas is. I am a human, CoinGecko, believe me. All right, Ethereum is down 1.5% today. It's 1544. Bitcoin's coming in at 26.7. Right now, gas is 12 gwei. It was 9 gwei yesterday, so pretty close to single digits. 24-hour volume's 36 billion, so really not too much here. Let's look at the quick gainers and losers of the day. Fracshare, Gala, Kronos, ApeCoin. Okay, finally ApeCoin's
Interesting.
moving to the upside. Caspa. Guys, you got to hurry if you're trying to get that Caspa on the cheap. I don't know if I'm going to get that 3.9 cents. Let's look at the biggest losers. Thor Chain leading the way, then followed by Rollbit. Yes, I still have a little Rollbit. Should have sold. It's down 21% in the past week. Radix is down, Avalanche down, Maker down as well, 4.2%. Solana almost down 4%. Optimism down, Render down. So we have quite a few coins to the downside. So
Thor Chain video coming out soon. Right?
Okay, yeah, we break down a lot of the Rune token. So the Rune fans, we got a video coming for you. Well, gas is hitting low, and NFT activity is super low as well. And in fact, it got so low, ETH turned inflationary. We kind of covered that a little bit yesterday. So went from deflationary to inflationary, mostly because no one's in DeFi, no one's minting NFTs, and the L2s are down, and the Telegram bots aren't doing as much. So things are moving down. But what are the whales doing?
Oh gosh.
When it comes to ETH. What are the whales doing? Well, I know they don't like wind farms on the edge of the coast, but that's another story here. ETH whales, however, dumping over $8.5 billion worth of ETH amid the crypto market slump. This is according to Sentiment and shared by Ollie Martinez. The whales are offloading their holdings since February, and the selling trend has been ongoing. No current indication of a shift towards ETH accumulation just yet. You know what? Right here, they're like, oh, accumulation's starting. Oh, never mind. Oh, wait, accumulation is starting. Oh, dang it, never mind. Okay, this is the time accumulation starts. No, it just kept falling. But this time, guys, look, we got a higher. Well, dang it, never mind. It just started going lower. I'm going to say, guys, this is accumulation starting, okay? Maybe, look, guys, it has to start eventually. Will it start now? Will it start tomorrow? Will it start in the next couple months? I feel like we got to be getting pretty close. And I'm only saying that because where we're at in the 4-year cycle, I do know some analysts are saying ETH still has some ways to go. Still has to bleed a little bit. Let's talk about one of those analysts, Ben Cowan. Nick, what do you feel about Ben Cowan? You like Ben Cowan?
Ben Cowan's great. Super smart. Throws one of the best parties in Bitcoin Miami, hands down. So shout out to Ben for letting me hang out there. Yeah, super smart guy. Like, I'm not a trader. I'm more like a fundamentals dude. So but I'm surrounded by very smart traders. I'm Frank and Tim and Kelly and Ben Cowan. So yeah, very smart. Everyone should be listening to him. Gareth Soloway is actually kind of good sometimes also.
Yeah, we love Gareth. We love Ben Cowan in their show every Monday at 10 a.m., I believe, Eastern Standard Time. I might be off by an hour. Highly recommend. Check that out. Braden, what is Discover Crypto? We are the people that are going to get you to financial freedom. We're going to give you the tools to success. And we're all going to be on this journey together.
It's actually a great segue to talk about how the show's going to change.
Great point. Yeah, we are going to see a couple changes, namely the set. Now, Drew, you've been kind of having a little bit of a hands-on approach with this. Are you excited about the set creation?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're gonna be kind of integrating just a more smooth, kind of broader abilities, bringing people into the studio, be able to interview them live on set. We have to change quite a bit to get there, but it's all happening behind the scenes. So.
And you see Nick on the side here. We're gonna have Tim jumping in a second. So we're gonna have a variety of guests on the side.
Oh yeah, we're bringing in a lot of new folks. A lot of visitors are going to be happening. We're going to be interviewing a lot of industry leaders. We've already got those interviews set up for the next coming weeks. So the content here on Discover Crypto is going to pivot more towards being, educational, and it's going to be something that's going to set the standard for what YouTube content is when it comes to crypto. So we are the tip of the spear with that. So be excited about what's about to happen. You're going to see a lot of changes on the channel, a lot of good changes. So stick around. But we want to know what you want us to cover.
Who do you want to see as well? Our front door, it's like the border, folks. It is open. It's open. You come on in, baby. Just come on in. Come in by the masses. Yeah,
you can Google what you need to say to get in the door.
They're sharing it online.
They're sharing it online. But so we want to know what the kind of content you want to see so we can get the right people in the house so that they can be making that content. So stick around. We are, there's going to be parabolic moves with Discover Crypto here.
All right. And speaking of awesome guests and analysts, well, let's talk about Ben Cowan here. He predicts ETH is going lower, folks. Yeah. A drop below $1,200 within the next 2.5 months. Well, November, December, we are literally 3 days away from halfway through October. So that is the end of the year. So Ben Cowan is saying $1,200 ETH by the end of the year, folks. So Do you agree with that? What do you think? Now, Ben Cowan is a smart guy. He's using a lot of data here, and he's probably largely going to be looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart here to kind of come to that conclusion. So he says ETH still has some more pain to go. So he posits for ETH to witness any lasting upward trend, it first needs to return home to a lower valuation. He minimizes the importance of ETH's recent 2.5 or 2x price surge, asserting that similar gains are readily achievable in the traditional stock market. He insists that ETH has historically had to reach its lower regression band before experiencing any significant price increases. Per analysis he conducted nearly a year ago, this top of this band that he's saying it needs to hit is situated between 600 and 800, and based on his own model of logarithmic regression bands there. So he was saying is going a lot lower, folks. Earlier, Santiment disclosed that the wealthiest ETH addresses continue to accumulate more assets here, while the market's value just over 1570. 8.5% is totally of the total supply is presently stored in exchange wallets. And additionally, the top 10 ETH wallets that are not linked to exchanges have a substantial holding of 40 million ETH here. So what are your thoughts on, you're the TA guy, and
Yeah.
I think we have one more story, then we'll get into TA. But before we get into, I wouldn't mind maybe looking at some ETH, and then we'll get our special guest, might look at some Bitcoin. What do you feel about 1,200 by the end of the year?
Yeah, 1,200 is an interesting spot. I can see kind of where he's getting at it. I'm a little bit different. I've gone by many names, DZ, since my time in crypto. I think a new one should be maybe I'm Ben Cohen Light. The poor man's Ben Cohen, maybe another one, because him and I agree on a lot of things. He just always goes to more extremes than I do.
Okay, I think he has a master's in math, and so that means you like
a master's in arithmetic. Yeah,
okay.
I can
addition,
answer
subtraction,
2 + 2 all day long. So,
all right. Well, let's talk about 8K here. And then we're going to go into the charts. Is 8K possible? We kind of led with, hey, there's Standard Charter, too big to fail bank. Their analysts are saying, look, we think eventually 25K to 35K, but we're thinking in this next bull run, $8,000. Is $8,000 possible? Well, let's look into it here. So they're predicting 8K by the end of 2026. I would say, mostly by end of 2025 here. The long-term structural valuation is going to be between 26 and 35, but that's stretching to 2040. So we're looking at ways down the line here. Head of the bank's digital assets, Jeff said, ETH becomes more widely used in smart contracts, gaming, and the tokenization. Its price will surge. He didn't stop there, saying 8K. But in 2017, ETH was trading around $10. But by January the next year, in just 12 months, skyrocketed to $14.50, marking a gain of 14,000%. In December 2018, it then tanked to $85. And from there, surged to an all-time high of $4,800, a gain of over 5,600%. So now its current cycle low was around 1,000 in June 22. That's when everything was collapsing. So to hit the bank's predicted price of 8K, it only needs to gain 700. Sounds very plausible when you consider the previous market cycles. Here we're going to look at the market outlook. You just see it kind of was trading in a range, and then fell down, and now maybe we're going to trade in this new range, 15 to 1,600. Now, if you look at the previous cycle, so they're saying, look, man, last time it did a 50x, so this time it only has to do 9x. Can it do? When you look at that math, sure, it does seem possible. I don't think I'm coming in for an 8K. And the reason I'm not going to say 8K, I'm not looking at the X's. I'm looking at, we now have ETH. It's 6,000. It's $900, right? $6,900 ETH. You have some ETH in your wallet. You have a choice. I could buy more or I could sell some at 6,900. Do you want to buy that $7,000 ETH? Who wants to buy ETH at 7,200? Who wants to buy ETH at 8K? So I feel like at a certain point, there's not going to be that many buyers. And I think once we get past 5K, once we start hitting new all-time highs, price discovery, I think maybe that 5 to 6K, you're like, hey, I don't mind buying this level. It's price discovery. Who knows what's going to happen? But then when we get to 6K, 7K, 8K, I think the buyers are going to be exhausted. So that's kind of my thesis there. I'm going to say 7K is kind of my target. I don't know if ETH can 2x, from the previous all-time high, which is, around 4,800, which would make it $9,600 ETH. I'm still going to come in around 7. A lot of people saying 10. So give me your price predictions for ETH here. Tim, what's your price prediction for ETH? And you too, Drew.
Yeah. So it all comes down to this for me. When I make my price predictions, it really comes down to what is the total market cap of crypto going to get to? That answer right there is going to tell you a lot about where you can start going with other coins. And there's still some speculation after that, but I heavily believe I think crypto is going to get somewhere between 10 to 11 trillion dollars in market cap. So that's going to be spread out across every crypto, right? I think that Bitcoin can keep between 30 to 35% of that dominance. That's why my price prediction is somewhere between 120 to 150. That's how it would work out when you take the supply and everything in consideration. When it comes to Ethereum, my expectation for Ethereum is that it's going to be probably hovering somewhere just south of 20%, maybe 17%, maybe, I think Ethereum's going to have a lot. And a lot of people are negative about Ethereum right now. They're negative about a lot of crypto. Why? Because it's the bear market, DZ. The bear market is not the time to be positive. Give us a couple of more months until things start cooking up with Bitcoin's halving cycle. Money starts flowing in. Remember, we're not just getting Bitcoin ETFs this next year. We're going to get Ethereum ETFs, spot ETFs as well. There's going to be a lot more excitement that I think focusing on the negativity right now is a little bit narrow-sighted. You got to zoom out, think about it a lot. I have Ethereum, DZ, depending on, again, if we get the $11 trillion market cap for crypto as a whole, I have it going above 10,000.
Okay. Well, what are the charts showing you?
Yes.
Here? Let's get right into charts with Tim.
Let's talk
Timbo.
Ben Cohen light. Ben Cohen's talking about this a lot, and I agree with him. The severity, though, I'm a little bit different on. There's two things happening right now on Ethereum charts. This is Ethereum over the US dollar. We are losing a support level. I'll turn this blue because we'll say it's, positive, but we're losing it. This is a bullish formation called an ascending triangle that traditionally breaks to the upside, but we're losing the support level. The other chart we are losing our support on, this is a big one he's talking about a lot right now, and I want to kind of break this down. We're also losing, let me get rid of my Fibonacci for just a second. We're losing a falling wedge pattern on the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. If anyone watches Ben Cohen, has been listening to him a lot, he's actually talking about this chart potentially dropping all the way down to 0.035. That would be really, really bad for Ethereum. So his analysis on a $1,200 Ethereum has a lot to do with this chart dropping severely, and then that having impact on the Ethereum over US dollar chart going all the way down to 1,200. Now, when I'm sitting here looking at a lot of different things, there's not necessarily Fibonacci levels that would give us a $1,200 level that's significant. It's really the golden pocket is sitting here at a level that I am kind of more leaning towards as the worst case scenario for Ethereum. I'm looking at about 1,350 golden pockets right there. That's also the price level we got to back here in March during a big dip. I do think that Ethereum is heading to the downside. I'm agreeing with Ben Cohen, but again, Ben Cohen light, he's saying 1,200. He's talking about coming down to price levels we had in December where we kind of had some resistance, a little bit of support right there. I think that's a little low. That is close to the platinum pocket. Could be something that happens. I'm not saying he's 100% wrong. I think he's just a little off. I think he's a little too bearish when it comes to this. Same thing with the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. Let's go back and look at it. He made a video here 2 days ago, and he did a great job. Go watch this video. Everyone decide for yourself. I do have a couple of concerns about his logic when he made the video. He compares this falling wedge pattern and a negative breakout to price action that happened in Ethereum over Bitcoin all the way back here in 2018. Now, remember, in a 4-year cycle, this doesn't correspond 4-year cycle-wise.
Yeah, that'd be 22.
Yeah.
That would be last year.
So what he's looking at right here, one of his big arguments is there was a falling wedge back here in 2018 that you guys can see we made a big breakout to the downside. And he starts to compare our current situation to this situation. I don't think there's actually, the way the markets are moving, DZ, I don't think it's actually fair to compare this chart in a 4-year cycle, but let's just say we do want to compare the chart in a 4-year cycle. In reality, we really should compare it to this falling wedge. But look right here, back in August of 2019, we fell below the support. Let me zoom in here just a little bit. We fell below support and actually turned it back into resistance and had a little bit more of a dip before breaking back up into the formation and eventually playing it out bullishly and hitting the price prediction of the chart. So again, Ben Cohen, very intelligent person, not somebody that you like to be in arguments with, but I just want to say I watched the video. I heard his reasoning. I think Ben is a little bearish, and I think he's comparing the wrong falling wedge. I think we could see something very similar. I think we could break down here below. I think breaking below this, technically we're right back in the wedge now. We could break down, have a little bit of fake out, and then break back in and make a good move. When? closer to December or January, not November. I think we're still dipping down here in October and November. I do think this chart is moving to the downside, but I think his case of saying we're dropping all the way to 0.035, it's too bearish. It's too strong. In the same way we've talked about this before, this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Nick, and we're going to get that special guest on. You guys know Ben Cohen and I are in similar camps when it comes to Bitcoin dominance. We both believe Bitcoin dominance is going to be climbing to the upside. The difference is he thinks, did not mean to draw that. The difference is he thinks we're going to rematch some highs we had years ago back up to 73%. Too high for me. You guys know I put that level at 60%. And even though I'm holding to that bet, I've kind of gotten to a place more recently where I'm saying I think 55 to 57 is the more realistic expectation. But watch the Bitcoin dominance, DZ. I don't even know if we're going to top out right now. I don't know if we're going to continue the upside over the next month or two. We're very overextended. We're overbought. I actually think we're going to see a small dip. And then in December, January, when the Bitcoin ETF stuff starts hyping back up, we're going to see Bitcoin actually start to rally again. That's when I think the Bitcoin dominance is going to shoot up back into the mid to higher 50%. And outside chance, I'm still holding on, outside chance we hit 60%. 73, it's going to take a miracle. It's going to take a lot of stuff happening for that to happen.
All right, good thesis there. I pretty much agree with all that. We got the smartest chat, and I just want to highlight some. Someone brought up a good point. 8K ETH, people might buy that to ape into meme coins. That's definitely a plausible scenario. The people who buy 50K Bitcoin will buy 8K ETH. I think 50K Bitcoin ETH will only be around 4. And then we have Crypto Tim with the $5 super chat. How about some deep dive videos on top 25 coin ecosystems, connecting wallets, different DeFi apps? Still the best show. Thank you very much, Crypto Tim. And on that note, today I filmed a Polygon video on how to stake within the official Polygon staking. It's a 4.95% APR. So every 100 Polygon, you're going to get an additional 5 every year. So right along that line, we're right in there. But I think it's time for us to check out our guest here. We got a very special guest.
Dude, I'm so stoked.
I'm excited.
I'm so stoked.
How are you doing? British Huddle, first time we're meeting. It's nice to meet you. I love the haircut. To meet you. I should have worn my glasses today.
I'm just trying to look as good as you. That's what's going on here.
Oh man, I need to get me a cigar, but you know, babies come into the office. There's like little puppies, and you know, they might get mad at me. They'll treat me like Robert De Niro in Cape Fear.
In Bitcoin, we don't get mad at what puppies think about us.
That's right. That's right. Well, speaking of Bitcoin, you know, we're looking at these analysts, and they're talking about an $8,000 Ethereum. You know, this kind of, you know, moonshot. You know, I think it could hit 8K. I think it will come in right a little bit below. But if we're hitting 8K ETH, I'm wondering, what do you think Bitcoin's going to do, you know, over the next 2 years?
Well, let's not talk about what I think Bitcoin's going to do. Let's talk about what the previous managing director of BlackRock said in London last week. He said, as soon as an ETF is approved, it could unlock $150 billion to $200 billion worth of capital inflows within a 3-year window, which is actually quite tighter than what I thought it would be. Now, in order to service that, you have about at $150 billion, you'll have $198 million a day worth of purchasing. That means that the equilibrium price of Bitcoin would need to rise to $198,000 without the supply constraining anymore. So if we look at the bull market multiples that have been discussed by a lot of people, Bank of America set it at the peak to 118 to 1, means $1 into Bitcoin means $118 added to the market cap. You could be looking at a Bitcoin price of $1.1 million as that capital comes in. And that's just one vector.
Well, can I push back on that a little bit? Don't you see that ratio changing as the price climbs?
Absolutely, but I see it getting tighter as the price climbs, because as the price climbs, you're less incentivized to sell. The unique thing about Bitcoin is that the new buyer of Bitcoin that's coming in compared to the old buyer of Bitcoin that's been holding and trying to trade and this, that, and the other, the new buyer is buying up your Bitcoin and is never, ever going to let it go again. That's the difference this time around.
Okay, that is a really good point, because I do think as we go further in Bitcoin's, you know, life cycle, I think it'll transact less and it'll be used more like gold more. So essentially, you know, if you think of gold, most of it's just dusty sitting in an old vault. Do you see something similar with Bitcoin, say 10 years down the line? Is most Bitcoin just going to be dust sitting in an old wallet?
No, the difference between gold and Bitcoin is that you can utilize Bitcoin as an underlying asset to the financial system and as rails, as what Strike is proving. So while a lot of the crypto world and the Wall Street world wants to make people believe that Bitcoin is just digital gold 2.0. I think that's the biggest lie that's out there. I think Bitcoin is much bigger than that. It allows people to build financial systems on top of it. And right now we're in the stabilizing layer 1, exploring layer 2. Eventually we'll be in layer 3 land for Bitcoin. And that's when it's go time in terms of usability.
Hey,
Well, go ahead.
yeah, just one quick question. So, British, do you think that, like, would you say that you're more of like a Sailorist or a Maulerist when it comes to your Bitcoin ethos? And do you know what I mean by Sailorism and Maulerism?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I definitely lean more on the Sailor side. However, I think that Mullers is 100% good. Now it's not only us Bitcoiners talking about it. You got the ex-president of PayPal coming out and saying that Bitcoin could be used as rails to do foreign exchange transactions, and that's a $7.5 trillion a day stable market.
All right. Speaking of Sailor, there's this narrative that was taking root, December 2020, January 21. We saw Sailor. He's doing his little message. All the CEOs, we're liking to think, Fortune 500, they're all there. 498 of them are there. And he's saying, hey, you're going to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And then Tesla did it. And we're like, we're all looking around. Oh, my God, the dominoes are falling. It's happening. It's happening. Next is Exxon, Microsoft, Apple, Google. We're all just trying to figure out who's the next one to do it. No one did it. Well, what about next cycle? Do you see any kind of exposure on corporate balance sheets?
So I was one of those people that was definitely on the bandwagon of corporate balance sheets, taking this bear market to think about it logically and applying my, investment experience to it. It doesn't make sense to me anymore. The corporate balance sheet in the U.S. is somewhere around $7 trillion. So it's not even that big anyway. And most importantly, if I want to invest in Tesla as a shareholder, I want Tesla to execute the vision of electric vehicles around the world for me. That's what I'm depending on Tesla to do if I'm giving them my capital.
Yeah.
If Elon turns around and says, I'm going to put 98% of my treasury into Bitcoin and just sit on it and increase your shareholder value that way, as soon as I've got an ETF, I don't need Elon to take that risk for me. I can reduce 3 layers of corporate risk and just buy the ETF myself. So the signal that it sends when a publicly traded company like Apple, Tesla, et cetera, invests in Bitcoin, it sends the wrong signal to shareholders. It tells shareholders, we have run out of ideas for your capital, so we're just going to put it into Bitcoin. I think if corporate treasury goes into Bitcoin, it'd be less than 5%.
Okay, less than 5%. Now, do you see that narrative changing once it, starts hitting new all-time highs, hits about 50K? Because you might have people, I'm thinking of the Reddit, the GameStop, the Wall Street Bets crowd. Can you see some sort of scenario where they're, trying to get online campaigns like, no, we need this 5% exposure, 10% exposure? Can that equate into any kind of groundswell support?
It's to be quite frank with you, it's completely irrelevant what the Reddit crowd thinks. So Reddit had a really good moment, but that will never happen again. After that moment, I guarantee you there is a department inside of every single large hedge fund monitoring Reddit and social media to look for exposure points like that. So that was a really good moment. I hope everyone cashed out, and I hope everyone got their Lambos and whatever else they wanted. But that's over.
Wait, I should sell my AMC stock.
Yeah, you should probably get out of GME. Yeah. So I know you wanted to get into the 3 rules of Bitcoin. I do want to get that in a second from you, British. But before that, Argentina and their new probably going to be president, Javier Milei. We did a video on him last week. Drew, if you could put a link to that in the chat, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But they're extremely bullish on Bitcoin, not just from, I would say he's more of a cypherpunk than Bukele. Are you tracking what's happening in Argentina, and do you think that could be a big catalyst for an upward Bitcoin movement?
Listen, I really love how all of these countries are adopting Bitcoin and adding to the Bitcoin value and seeing that their tourism and everything else is going up. But to me, based on my background, the only thing that matters is U.S. capital markets. The only thing I'm focused on is that ETF coming out, regulation getting stronger for Bitcoin, and regulation getting even stronger for crypto. That's all I'm focused on. Argentina going onto the Bitcoin standard, it will help the Argentinians. That's the main thing here. But as far as am I focused on it and celebrating that Argentina has a pro-Bitcoin president? No, I'm not.
Do you ever see a day where BRICS money is going to offset or be more important than America capital markets?
I don't think so. If they were to think about it like this, right? Let's say I want to pay. Say you want to pay me for oil in rupees, for example, right? And I own dollars in my treasury. I need to, and you own dollars in your treasury. You're going to take those dollars, convert them to rupees, send them over to me. Now, in order for me to actually make them useful, I need to convert them back into dollars. So what have we done here besides a big circle jerk?
Yeah, exactly.
I think U.S. capital markets and I think U.S. capital markets are absolutely secure. I don't think there's any damage. And here's how you know. Because if there was a true threat to the U.S. dollar besides a media mental circle jerk, there would be bombs flying.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say it's more of the threat. I would just say more the rise of their purchasing power, I think, is going to be a narrative, because there is a lot of purchasing power in those BRICS nations, especially on the consumer side. And so, I do see that being a narrative. Just doesn't, it remains to be seen what kind of economy and macro headwinds we're going to be facing and how it will affect some of these other countries with the smaller GDPs. Anything you wanted to?
Yeah. So I want to know, like, Huddle, like, what are your 3 rules of Bitcoin? Like, I see the Huddle, I see the British Huddle army in the chat. They want to know, like, help us, or we orange pill people here a lot, but you're probably going to have a different angle that we've never heard before.
Yeah, his is by tea and crumpets with it, right? Am I speaking out of turn here?
Tea, crumpets, and cigars. How about that?
That's it.
Well, listen, look, as far as I'm concerned, there's only 3 rules to Bitcoin, but you got to cover your children. I know you guys run a family-friendly show. You got to cover your children's ears, as I say.
Warning.
It's step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, you shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.
All right.
Wow.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I'd say put that on a T-shirt.
You know what? Morel, let's go ahead and get on that. British Huddle, we'll cut you in on it. Don't worry, we'll split the revenue 50-50. Looking forward to it. Put on hit merch. British Huddle, great job, man. We got to get you back on here, maybe get you on ATB. Any parting message you want to give the folks at home? Maybe where they can find your content?
Listen, look, at the end of the day, the main thing, the reason why I came here, and I want to thank Nick for organizing that, the reason why I came here is to let everyone know there is this message that the opportunity in Bitcoin has been missed, and that is completely and utterly false. That is completely and utterly false. If you're operating through the mindset that the opportunity in Bitcoin has been missed, you are going to cost yourself the opportunity of once in a species to acquire an asset that actually has finality as scarcity. So get your mind right. I'm cool with speculation. I'm a capitalist. You got the right to make and lose money as far as I'm concerned. But you got one opportunity to buy Bitcoin. So I want everybody to focus on getting to 1 Bitcoin. Once you do that, get to the stupid shit. And if you want to find me, just go to youtube.com, type in British Huddle, and look for this face.
Hey, there's only going to be so much Bitcoin floating out there, folks. You can only get about 17 million going to be floating around. So who's going to get a whole Bitcoin? Not enough to go around, not even enough for 1 for every millionaire out there. There's more millionaires than there are Bitcoin, folks. So I think it's a great message.
3 times more millionaires than Bitcoin.
Yeah. Wow. So that just kind of lets you know every millionaire wanted 1 Bitcoin. They could only get 1/3 of one. So go ahead, listen to British Huddle. This is a once in a species opportunity.
I love that.
British Huddle, what's the channel called?
It's called British Huddle.
All right. Easy to find, folks. Make sure you go show him some love. Make sure you follow him on X, follow all his platforms. British Huddle, always a great time. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, that was cool.
Awesome.
I need to start smoking a cigar, man.
I know. Yeah, we need to get in on the cigar game. We're losing out. Actually, I smoked my pipe the other night while I was drinking wine and watching football, and that was close. But I feel like I'm just missing out on the cigar.
Maybe I get like a grape Swisher Sweet. No, just like put it in my ear.
No, there's a great spot. There's a great spot where we live. We're all going. I'm taking you guys.
Oh, a cigar place or something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is there a wooden Indian?
It's OG. It's everything you'd expect from an old school Georgia cigar shop in the woods. So.
British George. That's kind of funny. Yeah, British Huddle's dropping the knowledge there. I liked it. A lot of good stuff there. And I think we largely align with most of our thesis there. I do think BRICS will be a little bit stronger of a power force than, I'm not talking about replacing the dollar's hegemony as the world reserve currency. Just I think the BRICS alliance will be a coming narrative, especially India, folks. There's a lot of talk about China. China's going to be the next number 1. There's musings that it could be India based solely off birth rate.
Yeah.
China is not having enough babies. India is well above the 2.1, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So
I see.
anyways, let's talk a little Bitcoin. Let's talk some data here. We're going to talk about the CPI and what it means for Bitcoin. U.S. September CPI rises 0.4%, outpacing forecasts. Bitcoin slips further. Year-over-year pace was 3.7, also faster than expectations. Rose 0.4 versus estimates of 0.3 in the previous month's 0.6. And on a year-over-year basis, it rose 3.7 versus forecasts of 3.6. So pretty close to the forecast there. And then the price of Bitcoin added to early losses. Following the news, it is now down 1.2%. Let's go to the fresh data. See what Bitcoin is doing right now. Don't make me prove I'm a human. Okay, 26,676.76. Oh, now it's 8. So yeah, all right. If you look on the 24-hour,
Let's look at the stocks too.
just kind of trading sideways there. Are you gonna look at Dow Jones Industrial Average?
Yeah.
NASDAQ?
I mean, look, we gotta. These are our roots. Okay. At some points in times, Bitcoin does track with the stock market. So yeah, everything's down today. What do you know? Biggest decline. Who's the biggest losers in the stock market? I gotta say, these kind of sound like meme coins. Look at these losers: Tempest, Matinus, RVL, T2 Biosystems, Agape.
Now that is a meme coin, right? Agape.
Agape.
Whoa.
So yeah, don't come at me saying like, "Oh, you guys are buying weird stocks." There's stocks that are down 60% today.
Now, again,
I mean,
you're not
come
talking
on.
about that section from Jackie's video yesterday.
Take it easy. Take it easy,
guys. If you didn't watch that yesterday, you have to watch that. I don't even know if it's still up.
Jackie's got it on her
I
Twitter.
don't even know if it's up.
She's got it on
So,
her
yeah,
X. It
it was
is
pretty nuts.
X-rated.
We need to clip when you kick the pumpkin. When Commander got kicked out, we need to clip that.
Yeah, poor dog. We like dogs. This is a dog-friendly channel. We got dogs in the office.
As
right
long as
now.
they're treated like dogs. As soon as you bridge over into like the fur baby thing, then I have.
Well, you
I
just
have-
lost half your fans right there.
Fuck,
Yeah.
dude. I only had 2, so.
Well, now it's just his wife.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well, let's talk. Lastly, I do want to talk about the percentage chance that we're going to get a rate increase this year. So I always say, look at the prediction markets. I don't know if there's inside information, but past 2 years, they haven't missed really, folks. So
No.
currently rate traders it's just a 10% chance we're going to get a rate hike in the November meeting, but it goes up to 30% when you also include the December meeting there. So we have a 1 in 3 chance rates get risen this year, but probably not. They've been pretty on point. Well, Bitcoin on-chain transactions hit an all-time low. Is this good news for bulls targeting 32K? This is from Glassnode, and it shows that on-chain transactions fell to an all-time low in the past 3 months, that there are fewer transactions suggests holders are unwilling to sell and are more inclined to hodl. Here you can see really, really low. This is heat map, hodl waves. Okay, yeah, it's similar to, where we were in the 4-year cycle. So you kind of look back about 4 years, we're going to be around in this range right here. We had a little dippy dip, and then it went to the tippity top. All right, another notable finding from this data shows that 95% of all circulating supply has not changed hands in the last month. Further cements the view that more holders are not ready to change ownership, directly contributing to the shallow levels of transfers in the last 3 months. Hey, guys, if we all self-custodied our Bitcoin, got it off an exchange, the price would go up 10K in one day.
So
We just can't get
Easy.
organized.
take a look at this. Here's the stock to flow model. Remember this?
Oh yeah. I remember thinking, I don't think we hit 200K, but maybe.
I'm people are like, oh man, we're stock to flow is broken. Look at that. But it was broken back here too. Right? Like this is the same kind of like, it's not tracking with the line. I think it's an average, right? So if we average out above this line, good Lord, like where are we at that point? So everyone who's fudding stock to flow, I think so, right? Would you agree that the consensus is stock to flow is broken?
I would say yes, that is a consensus.
So I think we should. Now is the time to check our assumptions when it comes to stock to flow.
Check all assumptions.
Yes.
Check everything there.
Yes. Check assumptions.
What up, gang? Love the show. Bitcoin to 500K.
Let's
We
do
need
it.
to talk about all the money in the stable coins. Do you trust USDT?
I mean,
I trust it as far as I could throw it, and I
Yep.
trust it. Look, here's my thoughts on USDT. I trust it more than every other stable. What does that mean? Not that much. Not that
No.
much.
And
Not
he's
that much.
500K Bitcoin. A British hodl just said 1.1 million.
Yeah, who knows? And hey,
So-
stock to flow, that 1 million thing on that logarithmic chart, it's like right there. So,
But
it's like it barely has to move.
If we have a $1.1 million Bitcoin, does that mean like a Hyundai Sonata is $700,000?
That's the question.
That is, what's the
Yeah.
gallon of milk? It's $1 million
Yeah.
Bitcoin. What's that gallon of milk costing you?
Yeah,
Is it $100? All right, let's talk about Bitcoin's 300% surge from early 2019 in focus as Fed officials favor the rate pause. So people are looking at the previous cycle, where could we potentially move? And so last time it surged 300%. Let's come into the price right now. 300%. I know you're thinking 3x. It's a 4x. We're going to be $105,000. So coming in along the lines of what my prediction is, I'm saying 90 to 100. All right. Former PayPal president believes in the future of Bitcoin as a currency for cross-border payments. This is David Marcus. He said his opinion about Bitcoin Lightning Network will be increasingly used as a layer to transfer money between different countries. This is because traditional fiat payments are very expensive and sometimes very long waiting times. Well, the co-founder of Lightning Network, LightSpark, as well as former president of PayPal, revealed in an interview with CNBC that he's convinced of Bitcoin's potential as a currency for global payments. So this is not some very small Discord mod. We're talking about the former president of PayPal saying this is the future. We're going to see a whole lot more of this.
You mean David Sachs?
You mean the only person to beat Peter Thiel in chess at that company? With the Lightning Network, Bitcoin could be sent anywhere in the world by paying a very small fee of about a nickel, finalizing the transaction in seconds. In recent months, the trend of using this infrastructure has been growing steadily, but is observing a decline in recent days. So here you can see it was up, and then just no one cares. No one's moving any Bitcoin these days. Suspiciously large drop in transactions on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Wouldn't you say? Oh, that's I'm sorry, that's to total network. Oh, that's stupid ordinals. The ordinals invented. Woo!
Yeah.
Ordinals are dead. Hey, ordinals are kind of back. They're dead. BitVM. Okay, that's dead. All right, so keep going here. We got one more Bitcoin. No, one more Bitcoin ETF story. Then no, we're talking about ARK. ARK adjusts. ARK.
Not Arkham Research.
Not Arkham Research. Not Arkham Asylum.
Not a great game.
We're talking about the older one from like 10 years ago?
Yeah. The one that
Okay.
still looks better than the current one and plays better.
Yeah, they always got to rush those superhero video
Arkham
games.
Asylum 1 and 2, just absolute top tier, top shelf games.
So I'm thinking about buying the fiance Pokemon Snap on Nintendo Switch. I don't know if anyone's played. Let me know how
Snap?
that game is.
I don't
Where
know.
you take the pictures. It was on Nintendo 64 first.
Oh yeah,
think.
you should get the Arceus. That's what my wife and my girlfriend just both finished.
Oh man,
Yeah.
had to get the comment in
Had to
like
shoot-
that.
look,
didn't he?
look.
All right, well, let's talk about the spot ETF here. It's taking the next step towards SEC approval. This would be very, very huge if it does get approved here. Submitted an updated version of its ETF prospective. This move follows after the SEC reached out to issuers a few weeks prior with comments and questions about their filings. Notably, the NAV calculations, the net asset value calculations, and the safeguarding of assets have been pivotal points in the discourse between spot ETFs and the SEC. The updated perspective deviates from the generally accepted accounting principles in the NAV calculations and stipulates particulars regarding the segregation of the assets. The trust assets with the custodian are held in segregated accounts on the Bitcoin blockchain, commonly referred to as wallets, and therefore not commingled with corporate or other customer
Who wrote
assets.
this?
Yeah, you got some pencil pusher like, no, all your investments need to be in the same bank account. And you're like, you idiot. It's Bitcoin. Okay. We own these magical internet coins. We can't just pull it off the Bitcoin network and put it in your too big to fail bank account. But the rules. And so I guess they're going to get a couple little alleviations in the guidelines there. All right. Whoa, I thought that was Lindsey Graham for a second. No, this is the House Majority Leader.
Wait, there's a majority leader now?
Potential. He
okay.
got the nod here. Scalise. That's the guy they're
Steve?
asking. Yeah, they're
The
asking.
guy that got shot by the Bernie Sanders dude.
Did he really?
What?
Yeah. That's Steve Scalise. He's the guy who
Can
got
we
shot.
pull that up? Pull that up.
Yeah,
I don't
here we
even know
go,
what
here
you're
we
talking
go.
about. We'll cut to your computer in a second. Crypto bills may depend
You're
on
like,
U.S.
what?
House GOP battle. Even Drew, I'm surprised. Drew didn't know about
Well,
a politician getting
I
shot.
remember that happening. I didn't know it was Steve. I can't remember if it
Yeah, I'm
was his
pretty
name.
sure.
Really?
Yeah, here we go. Here it is. Take my screen. Look at this.
Yeah, let's just show it.
Congressional baseball shooting.
Oh,
Oh
the
my
baseball.
Yeah. It's because he was there with Rand Paul
Yeah.
and some crazed Democrat
They're just
showed up with a
minding their own
gun.
business.
I mean, look, when I say crazed Democrat, I repeat myself. But he showed up with a gun,
We
and
don't know.
that was a cheap shot. I had to do
Democrats
it.
buy Jordans too.
Yeah, he was there with Scalise and Hodgkinson got shot.
Dang. Okay. I didn't know he was one of the baseball
He
politicians.
crawled into right field bleeding.
Man,
He's
but
more
did he catch the
gangster
ball?
now.
Yeah.
He's like,
I mean, I would assume so. Yeah.
Too soon. All right. Well, crypto bills may depend on the battle over the speaker pick here. If they can't unify behind Scalise or another choice to be speaker, paralysis in the House over crypto legislation and a potential shutdown could continue. Yeah, we do have some semi-favorable crypto bills in the House. So, yeah, if everything comes to a halt, that is not good for crypto. We got to get, while we have this opportunity, before we get sidetracked by the 2024 presidential election, let's get some of this legislation out, especially before SBF gets too popular and the Netflix and Jonah Hill's playing them some things. So let's get this, let's get it out, man. Let's get it out. So they won't get back to work on crypto legislation if they can't unify behind some sort of choice here, some alternative after the ousting of McCarthy derailed the congressional agenda. The nominee to replace him so far may be short of the 217 supporters needed. Well, the last vote went to 15 votes to get McCarthy in. Until he hits this number, Tom Emmer, currently the number 3 ranking in the House, is unable to pursue the majority leader spot.
Yeah.
Also keeps McHenry as the stand-in in the meantime. Unprecedented ousting last week left the chamber in some disarray. The nomination of Scalise over Jordan, the favorite candidate of Trump and his supporters, left some hard feelings in the party. Some Jordan supporters posted on X.com that they'll keep backing him over Scalise, and at least one took issue with his budget position. What were your thoughts on kicking out McCarthy?
Oh,
you guys,
dude, I mean, look, TJ doesn't like this channel to get political, so I gotta watch my words here. But McCarthy is an absolute big government corporate rhino shill. He's basically on par with Mitch McConnell, with Lindsey Graham, and all those other idiot Republicans who are their spine is made out of silly putty. That's what I think of Kevin McCarthy. Matt Gaetz, I don't like him. I don't hate him. I mean, look, if you're in Congress, you're automatically like are lusting for power, so I don't trust you. But as far as people that I don't trust the least, I would say Tom Emmer and Patrick McHenry are up there. And I've actually done a big shout out to Tom Emmer and all the work he's done on anti-CBDC legislation.
Yeah.
So I think he's more aligned with crypto than I think with most people. I still think Ron and Rand are the most crypto aligned because they practice what they preach. But shout out to Tom Emmer. I'm trying to get in touch with your chief of staff and your scheduler so you can come on the show. Tom, we'd love to have you on to talk about crypto, to talk about CBDC. So if anyone here in the chat can get in touch with Tom Emmer, just send me a DM on Twitter and give me their contact info.
Today's Tom Emmer is high on you. Let's make it happen. Let's make that thing happen.
Tom Emmer, he's the Neil Peart of representatives.
Ooh, I like that. It was a complicated issue, but I also agree, like, we shouldn't have all the bills lumped up into one big thing that no one can read, and you got to vote on it in 12 hours. And if you vote against it, you hate America because we called it America's Awesome Bill. That is not a good system. And I didn't know that that's a new phenomenon. We've only been doing that about 10, 15 years. And it's only for emergencies, and it's not supposed to be this way.
No.
And so,
It's not.
it's obviously a broken system, so something has to happen. All right, let's talk about, speaking of broken system, Senator Warren grills the U.S. government over a 2-year delay on crypto tax rules. She's expressed concern over the decision to delay crypto tax rules until 2026. She asserts the delay could result in the government missing out on billions of dollars of revenue. And despite her concerns, she praised the government for its clear and flexible definition of a digital asset. So that lets you know right there, she is full of crap. She's praising the U.S. government for its clear definition of a digital asset. Lies! All right, so while we applaud the substance of the proposed regulations and your agency's efforts to ensure taxpayers continue to report crypto activity, we're deeply concerned that the final rule will not become effective until 2026. She urges swift action on the U.S. crypto tax rules. Speaking of swift, I heard that Travis Kelce guy made some singer kind of famous.
Yeah. He just kind of like
He
found
blew her
this-
up.
He found this small town girl.
She was nothing.
she was a nobody, and now she's just
Yeah,
everywhere.
she's just some guy like her father financed her like little homegrown album, you know, or something. And like she had like her father bought a little studio time. She had like a little LP independently released, and she was basically a nobody. But that Travis Kelce, that super famous person, he's brought her up. So
I mean,
but
look,
anyway, citing recent data, Warren pointed out a lack of understanding amongst U.S. citizens about how crypto taxes work.
You know what? Hang on, DZ. I just got a really good joke here. Instead of NFL, it's a great transition from NFL players beating women to actually uplifting women.
Too soon. Did you watch ATB last night?
I caught the beginning of it.
So we had NFL moments, NFTs, famous NFL moments of retired players. There's a Michael Vick moment.
Well, yeah. Oh, that
There's
one.
an
Yeah,
OJ moment.
Yeah, that
There's a lot of
was.
moments.
There's
there
some
a
moments.
Deshaun
folks.
Watson and Tyreek Hill moment.
I didn't have that one. I did have Tom holding this deflated ball.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
a moment.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just a bunch of odd
Sorry,
moments there.
I'm really spicy today. I should leave.
Hey, that's why we want you on the sidecar there.
Every day.
All right, let's talk about Microsoft here. Microsoft reveals massive $29 billion audit request from the U.S. government. So the shockwaves reverberating from Redmond to Wall Street. Redmond, Washington is where they're based out of. They find themselves on the sharp end of a $28.9 billion tax bill. Well, when your company's worth $1 trillion, yeah, you know, I mean, where are we at? 28.9 billion. Yeah, sure. That's 2.9%. That's less than 3% of their company's worth. Is that a lot? It's a whole lot. But you know, you got to just put things in perspective there. Interestingly, though, Microsoft's not alone in this. Then annals of corporate tax disputes are filled with similar tales. Remember when Amazon found itself in the crosshairs over a similar transfer pricing matter? So this is just going to be the rich lawyers who get paid the big bucks, that $1,000 an hour. You're like, well, how could they get paid $1,000 an hour? Well, they're trying to save a company tens of billions of dollars.
Yep.
So these companies will gladly pay $100 million to save $1 billion.
Yep.
So the lawyers, look, they don't want to simplify tax code, and it won't happen as long as people like that are in power. Let's talk about Tether. Here's a whole lot of Tether sitting on crypto exchanges, the highest level in 7 months. Well, let's just look back 7 months, and then we can kind of get a good taste here. So this is going to be 6 months. I want to go right past that little line there. So, okay. Last time we were maybe around here. So March, what's today? The 12th. That was here. That was the
That's
bottom.
not a bad look.
Not a bad look. We were, hey, last time it was like this, Bitcoin went, wee. So maybe this is going to be some positive price action there.
So it's just like tons of dry powder buy whales are just waiting for a dip to buy.
Yeah, we haven't had this much dry powder since the last time we had a nice spike in Bitcoin
So
price.
set your longs, not financial advice.
I'm liking the odds of a long over a short.
Yeah.
Again,
That's
you know,
been against the grain. That conversation of 25 is the spot. That's against the grain. You're moving against the crowd.
you know, can I say more people talk about Nick's hair than my hair? And then this is just a uncommon experience for me.
Yeah.
Guys, my looks mean nothing. I'm here for the crypto and the gains. And yes, I have a sweater that is from the 1970s, but that's okay. Get over it. You should be more concerned with your bags.
So like Dig a Pony era of the Beatles?
I do not like the Beatles. I think the Beatles are completely overrated in every way.
Eleanor Rigby?
Pink Floyd is the actual innovator when it comes to rock and roll. Yeah, for
you
sure.
You don't even smoke pot and you like Pink Floyd. That doesn't even make sense.
No. If you listen to Piper at the Gates of Dawn, which came out before Hello, way more innovation than the Beatles ever did. So,
all right, the Beatles
I will
are
die
awesome.
on that hill.
You're amazing. All right, Drew, you have a musician background here, but it's a music that's unlike the Beatles. It couldn't be further away, right? It's like death metal. What is your Beatles opinion?
The Beatles had the hooks. Pink Floyd had the technicality and kind of the intricacy. They were two different realms, and that's for two different types of people. Some people like intricate, kind of multi-layered music. Some just like that good hook, very simple.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks.
Okay. All right.
Overrated.
Okay.
They're not the best band of all time. They simply are not. They simply are not the
Paul
best band of all
McCartney's
time.
the best living songwriter.
No, that is completely false. The best living songwriter is Beck.
You're all wrong.
Soy
Nickelback.
All right, let's talk about Caroline Ellison before we get. All right, this
God.
isn't a music channel. Look, go talk about football. All right, let's talk about Caroline. It's time to talk sweet Caroline.
That's a great transition. God, we're so good at our jobs.
She is testifying in the FTX trial that
Shout out to Neil
SBF
Diamond.
told her to keep selling Bitcoin if it's over 20K.
Yeah.
She testified that the former CEO, this is what he told her. She became a key witness, and she disclosed that she'd consider raising funds from Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to repay FTX customer accounts. She also mentioned that Bankman was concerned about his public image, believing that his long, unkempt hair played a significant role in shaping his public narrative. Yeah, the MBS, that's fraught with landmines. So I don't want to get into that one because I'll probably end up trying to defend
She probably said that, and then someone leaned over to a lawyer and they were like, shut it down.
Do you guys remember when Jeff Bezos got hacked?
Oh, yeah.
They hacked Jeff Bezos' phone, and that's how they found the
Oh.
naked photos of Jeff Bezos. This was
Wait,
about
there's
3
naked
years ago.
photos
Oh,
of
he
Jeff
buried
Bezos?
it. He did a very good job of
What?
suppressing that. Well, he owns Washington Post, and he
Not
had
that
a
hard.
firm hand in burying that story.
A firm hand in it.
He had a firm hand
Yeah.
in burying it.
I mean, were these like, was he thirst trapping? Or
I
was it
never
like,
watched it. I never saw it. Like, usually something like that happens, like, you can't help but see it on a
Yeah.
timeline. So you're like, I
Yeah.
don't want to see it.
Someone in the chat, look it up.
No, no. But anyways, I was going to say he got hacked by a MBS text.
Yeah, probably through Pegasus. Because
I think it was when they buried malicious code inside a JPEG. They
Yes,
sent him a picture.
that's Pegasus in the NSO group.
Hey.
Right. Shout out to Drew.
I'm good. I'm doing a refresher on that. That's
Yep.
coming out in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
On the
MBS, yeah.
blockchain basement. I think I have to
Yeah,
go
a
with that one.
zero-click infiltration spyware device called Pegasus, where all it has to do is be put onto your phone. You don't even have to accept it.
Yep.
It basically just shows up as a text message. You don't even have to click a link, and then it has all the access to everything on your phone. It's called Pegasus. Very scary.
All right. Also, it's a good creature type in Magic the Gathering. All right. Well, back to Ellison here. I was going to say, speaking of I'm not even going to say that one there. Speaking of Ellison's emotional state here, she mentioned feeling a sense of relief when the business was failing, as she no longer had to lie. She also stated that after all the financial maneuvers, FTX only had $4 billion to cover $12 billion in customer holdings. As for October 11th, according to a report, one of the most pivotal moments came when she testified that her notes from a conversation with SBF included a directive to keep selling Bitcoin if it's above 20K, a revelation that gives significant implications for the allegations of market manipulation. You know who was pissed off about that, Nick, was the miners. I saw a lot of miners saying, look, it was very difficult at that moment because the fall in price didn't really change,
With the hash rate.
the hash rate too much. And so it was still very expensive to mine that Bitcoin. And, these people were losing money trying to mine that Bitcoin, especially, you get a block reward at a $17,000 Bitcoin and you're like, well, shit, I just paid $20,000 in electricity. And so a lot of people are upset about that. Well, also there's more. There's also a bribery bombshell, Thai sex worker scandal.
Oh my God.
Guys, this
Wow.
story's getting thick, right? It's getting a little crazy. It's
I
getting
gotta
juicy.
say, Sam Trabucco, out of anyone at FTX, Sam Trabucco has the look of being the most likely to hire a Thai ladyboy.
Let's
bar
not
none.
have a whole Elon Musk Thai submarine moment.
I wasn't
here.
even gonna go there, and you did. And you did.
You're adjacent.
I was adjacent. I will say, just to get before we go to Sam and his the other Sam T. Caroline, do you think that she's going to be able to turn this into a PR win for her brand? Because I have her on my bingo card as being a senator's chief of staff in the next 5 years. She'll parlay this and her compliance and rolling on Sam into a career, not crypto related.
So
but we're going to
I don't see
continue
a
to
political
her.
career. I see it's on politicians' staffs. I see an NGO career, an
okay.
effective altruism career. So essentially, she'll be working closely with politicians and the elites, the educational system largely, but it'll be under the guise of NGOs. So it'll be like she works for a nonprofit now.
Yeah.
And then you look and it's like Elizabeth Warren has a heavy hand in making sure that nonprofit gets funding. So that's how I see that playing out, just because the optics.
Okay.
I think maybe if there's never a polycule, they would allow it. It's just there's a lot of baggage following her.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of polycules, join our polycule, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. We are here to get down and dirty when it comes to crypto every day. We're here to discover crypto and basically help you learn about crypto here in the bear market. So yeah, hit
With
that
a
like
firm
button.
hand.
We're with a firm hand and a safe word. Let's get to 200 likes here. The views are going crazy right now. The likes are going mid, so we need to improve our like game. So pay the fee, pay the toll, hit that like button.
All right, and if you think Caroline had a nice $6,000 drip yesterday, go ahead and hit that like button. That was a $4,600 Saint Laurent jacket.
There you go.
Drawing there. That was a $1,000 dress, by the way. Although SBF isn't facing charges of bribery, given the Bahamas intervention, federal prosecutors ensured the topic was front and center during Wednesday's testimony. She recounted 3 years ago, Chinese officials put a freeze on accounts totaling $1 billion. By November 21, the team allegedly turned to David Ma, a colleague with purported connections in China. He had these Chinese connections. He was based out of Wuhan. No, I'm just joking. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But he does have a pet pangolin.
Wow.
All right. Remarkably,
he's a bat foodie when it comes to cooking bats.
all right, we're
deep frying
canceled.
bats on
We're
a stick.
Canceled. We're canceled.
It's over.
All right. You know what we don't talk about anymore?
What's that?
Hunter. Anyways, all right. By November 21, the
man.
team allegedly turned to David Ma, a colleague with the Chinese connections, for guidance. Remarkably, Ma managed to thaw the funds. Court coverage was broadcast by Inner City Press reporter Matthew Russell Lee. Inner City Press doing a really good job covering this story here. So per Ellison, they discussed ways to try to unlock the money, included move, you stupid gray thing, including using wallets of Thai prostitutes. Yes, they wanted to use, so
Guys.
it wasn't like send them into a room and get compromat on them. Like, yeah, haha, we have a P tape now.
Gosh.
No, this was get a prostitute and say, hey, look, can we just open an account in your
Okay,
name? They're
DC.
not going to write down the seed phrase.
You just used a word that most people are not going to pick up on. Compromat. What is that?
Compromat. That's a good point. Compromat was popularized by the USSR and the KGB. It is a use of extortion and coercion. And so they'll get some sort of angle on you. They'll get like a compromising picture of you. And then they'll use that compromising picture, call it compromat, and say, ho, well, if you don't vote this way on this next bill, be a shame if your wife saw these photos.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, it's happening. And that's my main concern with TikTok is it's access to photo rolls. Is you can get a 5-star general and say, look, that daughter you love so much, the apple of your eye, it'd be a shame if we leaked her nudes.
Well,
So go ahead and vote this way.
At this point, you don't even need that. All you need is like 3 or 4 photos, like full body photos, fully clothed, and you can make an AI
Like Joe's
avatar.
brother.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
I don't
but
know
you
if
can
you've
make an
seen Joe's
AI
brother's got a
avatar that
photo
is
out there.
that is terrible. Speaking of terrible, here's one of the shirts that came out of Wuhan recently.
Oh my God, dude. Jeez, that's a little much. That one was a little much. Ugh. All right, you know what? I think we need to talk about FTX here. So since the collapse, Trabuco, he's one of the co-CEO here. Co-CEO knew about the bribe because he was in the Signal chat where it was discussed. So Trabuco, he's remained conspicuously silent. Adding to the intrigue, the opulent yacht recently surfaced in the bankruptcy discussions, with bankmen suggesting Trabuco discreetly quiet quit. Ellison also highlighted the descent of a former trader known as Handy. Handy was very popular at the polycule, by the way. Handy expressed unease over the alleged bribes. When Handy confided in Ellison and she told her boss, SBF alleged retort was a curt, shut the fuck up.
Wow.
Okay, I didn't want to say it there.
Wow.
While the judge permitted this testimony, the jury was reminded it wasn't a formal charge. I thought that said a different word right there too. That's where my brain went. I'm sorry. It's like PUSD coin. Anyways, all right. With Trabuco's name now splashed across the trial, associating him with the rumored bribery of Chinese dignitaries, his fate hangs in the balance. Although 4 top-tier officials have extended their cooperation to the prosecution, there's still this shroud of mystery surrounding Trabuco's involvement, much like the shroud of mystery that surrounds a Thai prostitute. But surrounding
Man, you
this,
just can't
even
let
if
it
he's
go.
under scrutiny, look, man, I didn't need to do that, did I?
You just can't let it go.
It was
Always-
there. It was
always
hanging
check
low.
the
It was
Adam's
low
apple.
hanging.
Adam's apple in the elbows.
That fruit was right there. It was just hanging right there.
I know.
Just going right up, and I'm knocking it over. Anyways, rumors are swirling that he might be evading the spotlight, living it up on his lavish yacht. Dub, soak my deck. He did have
Dude.
he had a former Magic the Gathering background.
am I in love with Sam Trabucco now? Does this guy not kind of sound kind of awesome?
I mean, he played Magic the Gathering. He's got a MTG pun, sex pun on his yacht.
Yeah. The dude's living kind of like John McAfee lifestyle. And
minus
he has
the hammocks, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And then he's got,
Not that there's anything wrong. There is something wrong with that.
a yacht to soak my deck. That's kind of awesome.
All right. Well, you know what? That begs the
a
question here. Where in the world is Sam Trabucco?
Yeah, he is a Grand Theft Auto character at this point in my mind.
Yeah, in a good way.
He would be a mission, like he would give you missions. Like, oh, let's go see Sam on his yacht.
Yeah, this is going to be the character in the movie that's going to be played by like the Justin Timberlake style. You know, he's like a little bit too much swag. Like it's the sea of nerds, the D and Gs, the dorks, nerds, geeks, the sea of D and Gs, and then you're going to have him. He's like still a nerd.
I think,
but like in that scenario, he's like this Chad.
He would be like Michael Cera. Michael Cera would play him, but he would be like somehow the coolest of the nerds.
Like Michael Cera, and This Is the End.
Yeah.
Like cool Michael Cera.
Yeah.
You know, he does. That's a funny movie. That is a funny movie.
That's good.
All right. Don't threaten. Hey, Deadwood says, veteran crypto, don't threaten me with a good time. They come out here. I'll call it early Christmas. All right. Careful who we speak of. We don't want to be Hillary. I don't get the reference there.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Kind of sounds like a very qualified presidential candidate. In my opinion.
You know, I mean, a lot of votes, right?
Yeah.
You know, didn't collapse on 9/11. Anyways, we have Jesse Powell.
Love this guy.
Yeah, we love Jesse Powell here. We're big Jesse Powell fans. We're a fan of all the Slack channels in his company as well. We told investors this when your competitor seems to be eating your lunch. Sometimes it's actually just fraud. I remember those times. Turns out not having those pesky things like laws or not robbing your customers can allow you to ship faster and grow your KPIs. We told investors this. No controls plus fraud. To them, the efficiency was evidence they had something special, a secret sauce, not like the polycule sauce, something that allowed them to operate at 20x speed with 1/20th the staff. Kraken and Coinbase must just be bloated, uncreative, lazy, and bureaucratic. So the signs were there. You know, if something's too good to be true, probably is. Yep. All right, FTX, there's an Ellison to-do list that she had. Sought regulators. One of them cracked down on Binance. Get the regulators to turn their eye towards CZ in his fast, great pickup. His push-up form. You guys see his push-ups?
Absolutely. He's
his freaking speed, dude. The guy's in shape.
Yeah, he's got great form.
Something about tech billionaires. You know, they went from slovenly, like limp-wristed pencil necks, and all of a sudden, what was the genesis of this? What started it?
I think it was JB. Like Bezos kind of set the tone for I'm going to be the
the HGH,
the Lex Luthor of CEOs. Because before that, it was like Steve Jobs, who's essentially like a testicle, and then Steve Ballmer, who's like this sweaty, like used car salesman. And then Steve Jobs, who was kind of like this wayfish narcissist who didn't eat meat. So that was who you were looking at. And then Jeff Bezos was like, I see that.
You're
also,
right.
Yeah, Elon Musk was also kind of this like hairless nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like the naked mole rat from Kim Possible.
I remember. You're right. It was this photo. Yeah. When this photo came out, that's when it happened.
Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was Jeff Bezos. He freaked everybody out.
Yep.
You know, they're penis inverted. You know, they're like, oh my God, I can't be in the same room as this guy unless I start doing some grappling with Lex Friedman.
Yeah.
When did that video pull up that when did that come out? When did
the tweet of CZ?
Yeah, click this picture of Jeff Bezos real quick.
Oh, like get a timestamp on it.
Okay. Modified. Oh, it was modified, so we won't be able to tell there.
I have a theory.
Okay, what's your theory?
Well, it's all around the same time like Nick was talking about. Also, William Shatner came out and scared the hell out of all the kind of elites or people that are on the richer side of life with some scary mentions that he said right around October of 2021. And since then, I saw a lot of these tech billionaires building bunkers and getting physically fit and all this stuff.
Yeah. So it looks like 5.5 years ago. Yep. Crypto bull, why are you being bearish? Just come on and have a good time. Don't be spreading negativity. All right. Let's see other stuff here. The to-do list for FTX. They called for regulators to crack down on Binance. Specifically, it was revealed that they sought regulators to crack down. Indeed, jurors at the trials were shown a to-do list that was written by his girlfriend at the time, Caroline Ellison. They call her Carline, not to be confused with Carmine from The Sopranos. On that list was the desire to increase regulatory attention to its greatest competitor. All the more interesting is that FTX sought regulatory attention on Binance when it was in the midst of the greatest financial crime in U.S. history. Still, Binance has remained a subject of observation by regulators. Indeed, recent reports indicated that they promised $1 billion in crypto recovery funds, and it was underutilized. Additionally, questions of compliance have abounded in a variety of regions and countries. Look, they've been under investigation by the DOJ since 2018. Nothing's changed. I don't know what they're going to lean towards, fighting or settling, but I don't expect to see CZ behind bars like SBF anytime soon. Did Drew say Captain Kirk? I don't know.
William Shatner. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
William
it was
Shatner.
He was scared, so you just go check it out. William Shatner, October 2021.
The only Jesse they recognize is Jesse the Body Ventura. Well, Jesse Powell from Kraken's pretty cool too. So any other Jessies? Jesse from Saved by the Bell. We recognize her. She's so excited. She's so excited. She's so tired. Old reference. You got that reference.
Barely.
Oh, man. That was for you, random viewer.
Yep.
That watched Urkel, or no, not Urkel, Screech before his adult movies.
Urkel
All right.
was good.
I love Family Matters. You know what? I rewatched Creed last night. It's a good movie. Creed is pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, my fiance's never seen. I want to watch the third one. She's never seen them, so we have to watch them. All right, let's talk about some chain link here. Not Drew's old life. No, we're talking about the coin Link Marines. It is the safest bet to profit from real-world asset tokenization trend, according to K33 research here. K33 sounds like a restaurant. The tokenization narrative is gaining steam in crypto, and Link may be the safest bet for investors who seek to profit from the hype, they said in Wednesday report. If we wish to have exposure to the narrative and avoid being sidelined, Link is the safest bet. They advise investors to wait for lower prices to go long, pointing to the long-term support level at around $5.70 to take long positions. We've talked about this before. You know, we kind of round to $6, $8. It has this channel. Right now, we're close to the top of the channel, rather than the bottom of the channel. But guys, eventually it's going to break out of that channel. And so, I'm not going to be the one to say, wait till the bottom of the channel to buy your chain link. You definitely want to wait till $6 or under. Might not hit that. I don't mind DCAing under $8. I don't mind buying chain link at $7.50. It's better to buy it at $5.70, but I don't mind buying it.
I mean, $7.22, that's pretty good. It's been in a real big downtrend over the past,
let's check it out.
over
I'm
the past
stupid
30
bullish on
days.
Chainlink. I love this project.
So, I mean, it's
hit the 1 year. What does the 1 year look like?
1 year.
Guys, that's the range we're talking about.
Look at this.
It's as boring as Monero.
Yeah,
that's great.
Go to the max though. Go
to the max. Well, yeah. Okay, Drew.
All the
calm
actual
down.
connections in the world.
Oh, yeah.
It's
so
it's
topping
just
out at around $50.
You know what it looks like on that right side? Keep it on that screen real quick. It looks like, we're kind of like going flat. And then it reminds me of when you're like, you see a car start to overcompensate. It's turning and it's like, hey, man, we're just in this tight range. And then it's, whoa, we're starting. And then it goes to the upside. Or it falls.
Yeah, or it falls.
It's
I
2 cents.
I don't see how it could fall, but
I don't see how it falls. To me, that swerve up and to the right, baby. It's going up and to the right.
Look at this.
Let's see.
That's
what
amazing.
else do we have here? We have liquid staking space is booming. Here's a close look. This is per Messari's data. Linqto still have the largest market share on the liquid staking sector. Solana is also showing some growth in the space, though. So, hey, don't sleep on Solana. Liquid staking is going to become more important here.
Root says, what are your Link price predictions for the top of the next bull run? You want to get into that? Let's do it.
Yeah, I think there's something about the psychological numbers. And then $100 is about as big as it gets. It's up there with the penny, dollar, $100. I say it's stronger than 1,000.
Let's look at the market cap, what that would be. So it got a $20 billion market cap, doubling its market cap to $40 billion. Now, what's the tokenomics like?
I think it's just going to kind of come close to a double of its previous all-time high. So it hit around $50. I think it's going to hit around $100.
So if it's $7 right now, you're looking at
100 would be a 14x.
14x, yeah. So not bad.
14. I think it might be.
That's a pretty good crypto gain.
4.1.
Yeah, it'd have to hit 58 billion in market cap to get that. So I think that's a safe bet. I mean, it's safe bets really calling for 50. I think
Bitcoin will probably be pushing a $2 trillion market cap at that point. So Bitcoin itself. So I think 50 billion is in the chips for sure.
For sure. All right. Well, speaking of tokenization of assets, we have T-bills, treasury bills could be tokenized. Well, we'll just kind of go over some of the what would happen. It would change everything. It could be Ethereum could then be used as money, slightly less stable than the dollar, actually deflationary, theoretically immune to banking crises. No KYC, global, available to everyone. Fees are flat-ish. No minimum balance. Directly plugged into the digital economy. Settled every 12 seconds, and lower carbon footprint when compared to traditional finance services. So pretty good stuff there. As far as lower carbon footprint, you're like, well, how does that make sense? Well, they don't have an office building turned on, right? With like a whole bunch of employees, and you're paying for this thing, and then you have the severe carbon input just from having 1,742 branches across the country. That's a significant imprint there. All right, some latest developments on DeFi. We're just going to kind of go over some of the more cool ones here. Frax Finance dropped the docs for Frax V3. Solana, native support for private blockchain transactions. Pretty cool there. Uniswap V3 went live on the ZK Sync era. Trader Joe's sued the Trader Joe DEX. Instadap introduced a new liquidity layer for DeFi lending. ThorSwap transition to maintenance mode. Polygon proposed ApeCoin launch a L2 using Polygon toolkit there. Ton, the Telegram coin, secured 8 figures in funding from Mexi Ventures there. Pretty big there, at least 10 million. And Polygon announced contracts for POL. Its upcoming new token went live. So you're going to end up having to switch your tokens there at some point there. So odd that they switch branding like that. One more little DeFi story. DeFi total value locked down 30% year over year, yet liquid staking and Tron-based projects defy trend. So yeah, I think we're kind of going to hit a little macro bottom, but I think we're going to eventually start bouncing on this TVL. I think now is the time in the 4-year cycle for the TVL to start rising here. Let's see. After Link, we got the XRP. Oh, is it live on the... It's live. Guys, this is live breaking news. This is the Hit Merch website here.
Check it out.
Holy crap. Guys, is this a fast-moving organization? People bearish on this channel. I laugh at you. Here, we have a very, very awesome graphics department and a really, really good worker on there named Morel. Morel is the man. So yeah, if you want to support British HODL, life lessons, buy Bitcoin, shut the F up, get fabulously wealthy. Brought to you by @British HODL. Love it.
Wow.
Love it.
That's amazing work.
Yeah,
That's
I'm going to have to give you one. I want to wear it on stream.
I like how to the point it is,
Yeah. Can you put a link to that specific shirt in the description?
Yes.
We also need the Linqto link in the description as well.
Oh yeah.
Drew.
Nice. Thank you. All right, let's talk a little XRP news. Let me make sure I get the first one here. XRPL, this is the XRP ledger payment protocol, taps mega partnership. The backed payment startup Spin the Bits. Yeah, I would say that's pretty major. The new partnership with Circle. Who's Circle? The team behind USDC. Also, very, very well connected with the Coinbase Silicon Valley crowd there. So Spin the Bits has announced it's inked a strategic partnership with stablecoin issuer Circle. As revealed by the emerging startup, the integration was done using Circle Developer API and will now enable users to deposit and withdraw USDC without any hassle. So, hey, pretty big news for XRP getting some Circle support. And now we have another, I don't think that's a real photo of Charles Hoskinson. I think these AI, so there's this theory. All right, maybe some of you have noticed, it feels like AI is worse, right? When it first came out, it was really good, and it's worse than it was 6 months ago. Well, it's hallucinating off of bad AI answers. So 12 months ago, there weren't billions of bad AI answers, bad AI drawings. And so now you fast forward 12 months and you query something up on ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney. It isn't pulling from human endeavors. It's now also pulling from everything humans have done and all the shitty things AI has done over the past 12 months. And I feel like AI is like making Charles Hoskinson slowly look more and more like Edward Snowden. I've noticed that with that first picture, they look wrong. Starting to look, why? Come on, AI. All right, well, Charles Hoskinson addresses ETHgate rumors. Did Ethereum bribe the SEC to go after XRP? In an AMA shared on X, he mentioned that the Hinman emails and other revelations expose the thought process of the SEC and shows that there is unequal applications, which he doesn't see anything wrong with. Furthermore, he believes that none of the commission's actions presupposes corruption, but only favoritism. So it happens to be he was a co-founder of Ethereum, so he's going to have a biased opinion, I would say. While he may have tried to downplay the Hinman emails and other revelations, they undoubtedly lay a foundation to possible wrongdoings of the commission. For one, the email showed that Bill Hinman had interacted with the co-founder of Vitalik before he gave a speech where he mentioned that ETH wasn't a security. With this in mind,
hang on, DZ.
Twitter could have influenced the speech there.
Breaking news.
Breaking.
Genesis has halted withdrawals.
What?
Genesis trading their the
Genesis,
trading arm of
the GBT,
Gemini,
the
correct?
GBTC. No, that's Gemini. Genesis is the
They partner with Gemini. Genesis and Gemini do a lot together. I
thought
do want to say
that's the one for Digital Currency Group.
Okay, which is also connected. Because remember, Barry Silver owes the Winklevi.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where
It's a
that
whole
connection is.
polycule of you.
It's
and
all,
me,
yeah, just the way we were saying, circles connected. There's this big circle jerk
Yep.
happening.
So Genesis Trading, one of the biggest institutional players in the world when it comes to crypto, they've just halted withdrawals as of 20 minutes ago per Watcher Guru. So this is a developing situation. I don't know exactly what has been halted. I don't know if it's all trading, but it says it's per Financial Times. Let's go ahead and look this up. This is breaking news.
Yeah, and if we go to Bitcoin price right here, it doesn't seem like it's making too big of a movement to the downside. We're not seeing any like giant wick down, so it's not as terrible as it could be, I would say.
Yeah.
No. Well, yeah. Let's see.
Dang, the dominoes keep falling.
Yeah.
Yes. I wonder how Dolly the sheep is doing. Bob from the accounting brings up a good point. They quit talking about cloning.
They sure did, didn't they?
You don't hear about
Kind of a
it.
big
So
deal.
in the 90s, they're like doing all this crazy stuff. What do you think they're doing now? 25 years later.
I don't want to talk about
Dolly has opposable thumbs. I don't know. We're just joking, of course, but maybe. Super soldiers with animal DNA. Chimera hybrids. I'm kidding. I think it's time for the X minute here, guys. And then we're going to end with the cold plunge. When transferring coins from a wallet held at least a year to DEXs, do we lose our capital gains tax privileges? Yeah, there's 12-month taxing privileges. I don't want to give you any kind of definitive tax question here.
believe it's over a
when
year.
transferring, I want to say that is not known if that's a taxable event or not. I think you're going to find some accountants that are going to say it definitely is. I'm pretty sure you're going to find some accountants who say it definitely isn't. It's only a taxable event if you swap it, not if you transfer it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there's people who disagree with that assessment. So there's no clarity on it right now. Me personally, I can just tell you what I would feel.
Yeah.
I went to school for accounting. I'm not any kind of no CPA. Don't ask me for any kind of tax advice. I wouldn't count that as a tax event. I would only do swaps and sells as tax events. Because I mean, what's you might need to just switch wallets. You might consolidate a wallet. That shouldn't be a tax event.
I think in the eyes of big players like Coinbase, they don't view transfers as
taxable
events because when you download your tax forms from Coinbase, I didn't see any transfers on there.
Ooh,
so it was only swaps and sells.
Paul Grewal, head of Coinbase Legal, he doesn't seem to think so. I would say his opinion's better than mine.
I do have a little bit more clarity here on the Genesis situation from our friend Scott Milker from the Wolf of All Streets. Genesis to pay $175 million settlement to FTX approved by the court, expunging billions in claims. So New York Bankruptcy Court approved a $175 million settlement between FTX and Genesis. The approval allows Alameda to receive settlement from Genesis. This concludes multiple claims that FTX had against Genesis, significantly reducing the original claim amounts, which totaled $3.9 billion. So this just happened, and then Genesis is like, OMFG, we have no liquidity. Let's stop withdrawals. So
okay, all right. And C90 brings a good point. Not so much applicable for this, but when you do sell, then it depends on first in, first out, first in, last out. There's different ways to file. All right, let's get into the X minute here. And yes, I will show the cold plunge shortly. Matt Walsh, pretty good. I thought this was just a good tweet. The SBF case has it all. Bribes to Chinese official, Thai prostitutes, overt fraud to lenders, SBF thinking he'd become the president of the USA. With all this content, it's a shame that Michael Lewis wrote such a terrible book. Yeah, Michael Lewis, you really tanked your...
He's getting raked over the coals right now.
Yeah, he really just ruined his reputation. I could only assume he's advertising or cheerleading for a certain agency. Let's talk about the likes here, and then we will show the cold plunge. It's about 10, 20 seconds. What happens next after Bitcoin halving couldn't be any more obvious. How could anyone be bearish on crypto? We are right now in this kind of like 6-month-ish period right before the halving. So last time, I mean, COVID crash kind of screwed up the color of some of these candles. I think it
Mhm.
might have one less red, 2 less reds, 1 more green. I'm feeling pretty good. I do want to say I think it'll look more like this one than this one. COVID kind of screwed things up. All right, SBF is going to jail as he should. Caroline is too, but deserves leniency for her cooperation, sympathetic position, stop mocking her appearance, stay focused, you fools. The barbarians are at the gate, and Senator Warren is 100x more evil and Machiavellian than either of them. Great take from 2-Bit Idiot, aka Ryan Selkis. I'm sorry. The supposed analytics is just me just helping this buddy out with the kid called Beast with the algorithm there. I didn't know there's a super typhoon coming. Strongest storm on Earth,
I was looking
nearing
at this.
cyclone perfection.
Yeah.
Did you know about this, Nick? Near
No.
perfect circular eye surrounded by deep convection. Currently 180 mile per hour winds with gusts up to 220.
Is in the middle of the Pacific right now.
Yep. Open Western Pacific. Weather is amazing. So just be careful out there in the Pacific for sure. We're praying for you out here. Here we were talking about real world tokenization. So we kind of covered that in a story. Here's more link stuff. So it's kind of a good tweet from Scott Melker talking about that K33 research. Here, this one's for you two. Mike Benz, I've talked about this account. Again, good rule of thumb. Anytime you see a mainstream article touting researchers on disinfo, that just means CIA. That just means CIA. Researchers said. So just a good mental switch, a good reframe to have. Here they're talking about SBF and the tether. It's, the $40 billion. You're hearing a lot of people say, that's half the market cap. That's net gross. That's a gross, not net figure there. So just the neocons, it's gross. Nikki Haley screaming, finish them.
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham, just level the place. Mike Pence, just do it. I forget who said it. Was it Tucker? Lindsey Graham is a nearly 70-year-old man with 0 children who has 0 dog in this fight.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't take any kind of neocon saying there. This door is a pretty cool thing. And guys, then we'll do the thing. Looks like an architecture mistake, but it's not. Nick, you'll like this one. This is a door measuring only 32 centimeters wide, considered the narrowest door in the world. Why? Well, it's to not let the monks pass who got too fat. That this was the only entrance into the kitchen.
Wow.
So in order to enter, they have to slim down. It was an order like the someone took when on August 10th, 2019, when Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Oh, we didn't see that one. You didn't see the little misdirection there.
Wow.
So yeah, I thought the door was cool, and then nice little thing there at the end.
No, we'll 1-2.
I don't want to do too much Elon fan simping, but just hearing the typical week in his life and reading that book, it is pretty crazy there. All right, here we go. It's time. Y'all ready to see the cold plunge?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do the cold plunge. Will we have sound? I think we'll have sound, right?
Yeah, we should
Scroll
have
to the
some.
top. Scroll to the top. Here we go. Hey, I got some followers from that space yesterday. Finally broke out of that 0.4. As promised.
There you go.
Said I'd
He did
film
the
it.
thing. Standard.
Do we have that's not too loud. Guys, it was cold water.
No, we're not getting it audio. The
Gotta
audio
narrate.
turned off.
We got to narrate.
It was cold. They went inside my body at that moment. They're hard as marbles.
Yikes.
I was dying.
Was it hard to breathe?
Oh, it's so hard to breathe. That is the hardest thing. It's hard to breathe. That's the hardest thing. It is hard to breathe.
Interesting.
It takes the breath out of your chest, and you're not ready for it. So
Interesting.
yeah, I do some cold plunges. I didn't get to do it last weekend. I look forward to do it this weekend. It's a fun thing. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's hardcore, folks. You got to be careful.
Is there actual benefits? Like, do you feel refreshed and rejuvenated?
Oh man, the level of energy you have is unparalleled. You feel the dopamine, and you just kind of want to smile. If you've ever done yoga and you got done with a good hour session, it's similar to that. Is how your brain feels. Like you feel a little bit sharper. Colors are a little bit brighter. It's pretty nuts. Anyone know if Husky's out there finding aliens again? We might go save. Hey, maybe. But he has enough money to pay for a big ship and a better submarine. I didn't get my okay. Someone still has Bob Stapler, and it's a red one. We need to get it to him. I'm not a tax expert. Just go off what the tax professional tell you. Veteran crypto, good advice. I would say the same about myself here.
Mhm.
All right. Needs to be exchanges, transfers are not taxable events. We agree. We need to force Congress to pass term limits and rules against their insider trading with info they get in laws they make. They never like voting against their own self-interests. That is the problem. Hey, people, ice baths are the copper bracelets of the early 2000s. I feel a little offended by that. And I think the data on cold plunges is a little bit better than the
Andrew
data on
Huberman
copper
would
bracelets.
disagree with you.
Andrew
Yes.
Huberman.
All the tech billionaires would probably disagree as
Yeah.
well.
And if they got billions of dollars, they know more than us. There's one thing I know.
Sometimes, not because of they have billions, but if they came from nothing and build up billions, maybe they know something we don't.
Yeah.
Never understood cold baths. I do CrossFit and I've never wanted to do. It's not about want. It's about wanting the results. It's not fun to do. I will say that. All right, guys, we're going a little long. It's already 12. We're going to call it there. It's been a great episode. Make sure you hit that like button. Remember, some changes coming to the channel. Thanks for joining. Anything else y'all want to add?
No, I mean, see you at the top.
See you at the top.
Boom.
And at the basement.
Boom.